Mm. All right, we're going to be going live on YouTube in just a moment. Um, we're going to be doing a retail deep dive. So I'm streaming from Zoom. So we're going to be looking at uh, CoStar and Crexi. We're going to be looking at retail space. We're going to be looking at some office space today. So I got two likes. Thanks for the likes, whoever's liking me. So we're testing different platforms. Today we're streaming on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to talk about what is happening in the retail space in Houston. We're going to look at some comps and we're going to look at some deals. I have until 1 o'clock. So let me make sure that I'm sharing my screen. Let's go into the just look at some quick market reports right now. And I'm going to show you how different asset types. I'm going to do two things if I have time. My goal is to start looking at deals by 12:30. So I'm looking at the clock. So looking at the retail markets in Houston right now, um, retail's trading at a 7.2 cap. People like the retail stuff because it seems to be quiet. We're finding that more people are getting out of uh, like multifamily. I spoke to somebody who's getting out of multifamily. He's getting out of RV parks. RV parks have higher cap rates, and he's moving into retail. Why? Because retail tends to have triple net leases where the tenants are going to stay in there longer, and so they're a little more and they're it's a little less hands on. It's more hands off, if you will. Um, so vacancy rates right now are very, very low in retail compared to like the 12% in multifamily. If I come back and I show you in Houston, we'll start with multifamily because multifamily just always keeps us real busy. We have, they're trading at 6.6, but their vacancy rates are high in multifamily, and it's a lot higher than it was even like 2 or 3 months ago. Last year, this time it was at 11.7. So vacancy rates, again, on retail are very low. We're at 5.3 vacancy. Cap rates are higher, so that's good. And then inventory's high, but construction's going down. Construction's 20% down. So we're expecting this absorption to catch up with the inventory. So an inventory surplus is definitely kind of plagued the retail space as well as the industrial space. I'll show you an industrial so you can see that as well. In Houston, similar cap rates in the industrial space. Vacancy rates are relatively low, not obviously not as low as retail, but much lower than the multifamily. And the great thing about industrial, just like with office, industrial, you're going to see your 5 year, 10 year terms on those industrial leases. Problem is they may be vacant for a year before they get replaced, but on average, vacancy is at 7.1%. So Over time, industrial still proves to be a very good long-term investment. And then we'll talk about our friends in the hospitality sector. Always a challenge here. Cap rates are incredibly high, and in hospitality, and that has been how it has been. Um, most most hotels, whether it be boutiques or flagship flags, they they're they're actually owner occupied. Believe it or not, a lot of these owners are managing the property and living in the property at the same time. So most of these mid or smaller size hotels, the managers are ultimately the owners and are the managers. Um, Occupancy and hospitality, and this is probably comparable to most STRs too. So we're not really looking at STRs, but 59%. Let's run some comps. I'm going to look at um, sales comps. So let's look at, I want to look at some office space. So we do have a couple of office spaces um, listed right now. Office is moving slow. By the way, if you have questions, please just ask and I would be happy to answer questions. So if you have any questions about the retail space or the office space, just let me know and let's see what's going on. So last sold. So a lot of office space. We're going to look specifically in the Houston CoStar market. Come down to Galveston. There was an office building in Bolivar that just closed. Well, 1600. No data there. Very typical. Buyer, seller. Says no broker on the deal, but there's a broker sign. Means they're lying. Okay, office space in Galveston, nothing. Okay, we'll come into Texas City. $36 a square foot. Says the owner sell, fully leased, $36 a square foot, sold for 130,000. Asking 150, closed at 130. I'm looking for any type of financial. Mm. These tabs that are on these listings are not consistent in other asset types. The multifamily will have different tabs. Mm, Estimated rent, $2 a square foot. It's probably less, 174 square foot. Um, no financials here, but $36, and then this one in Texas City, little, this is a portfolio. So no info there. Lamar, $75 a square foot. No financial records there. No cap rate. Mm, oh, we know this person. That's interesting. She was looking at one of my listings. So we've seen this one. So this is an office building sold for $75. Sell price 181,700. Moving on, when we come in closer to Houston and the story changes like League City. We have an office building here, real close. Uh, it's on 646. No data. Okay, this one's on Gemini. This is 940 Gemini in this medical area. So we got 940, and then we had another cell on El Camino. Um, oh well, Texas into action recovery centers. This is I didn't know this building sold. Okay, so I know these people. So they sold this to the tenant that was in the building for $97 square foot. So that just closed. That just closed. And then this one, so that's the chiropractor on Gemini, and then this one on El Camino sold, but I don't think I have any data on this. So a lot of activity still. There's some more in Clear Lake. Royal Crest. So I don't have any data on any of these. I just whistled while I talked. What's wrong with me? Mm, nope. What did they show us on analytics? Average market sales, 12-month sales volume. What's the average price per square foot? I don't even have that here. They don't even have that data. Welcome to Texas. So let's look at Friendswood. Nope. I looked at this building. Parkwood. Um, this, this is a was a pretty big office building, 6,000 square feet. Of course, I don't have any data on it. Price per square foot, nothing. So we're just looking for whatever information we can find. But Parkwood sold. I showed that to another client. Um, what is this? This is Oak Tree. Sold for $240. I wonder if it's small. So 3,000 square feet. Seems like it sold. I wouldn't have expected. I mean, it's a beautiful property and surrounded by trees and looks really nice. Friendswood. They have a loan posted on the Allen Runs Ramussen. Okay. So that's interesting. That sold for a lot. Short, low ceilings. But 240, it seems like that's a lot to me, but mm, but it wasn't a performing asset. So yeah. Okay, let's look at we're gonna look at some office deals. We're gonna go over to Crexi and we're gonna look in the office space. So in Crexi, the traditional executive medical office, and we're just gonna search. So in so Crexi doesn't do markets, it does cities. So we don't ever want to search by city, but you can search by county. 535 office buildings for sale. We're not going to look at all of them today. But we're going to see what's performing. So we'll start with the ones that are communicating. I know this property. This is on Diana in Clear Lake. Mm, So we're at a 9.5 cap rate. It's been on the market 552 days. Um, I want to go to Google. I think this might be an interesting deal. I'm good friends with both these agents. Google Maps. Diana Lane. So here's Diana. Okay, El Camino, Saturn. Um, El Camino, or yeah, here's Bay Area. So we're on the east side of Bay Area. So Diana is this is the Clear Lake Library. Back here is Clear Creek Community Church. And then right here is this Paragon Space Development. This office is being advertised. This is we gotta find a buyer for this. This is being advertised at a 9.5 cap. So let's look at what that looks like. So at $3 million. Um, Now I don't have financials, but we can get those. So said 9.5, but it's not verifying that that net is so 3 times 9.5% cap equals $285,000 net. 285. We'll have to verify that, but that puts me at this is a great deal if what they're saying is true. So if I can get seller financing, even if the interest rate's like at 7.5, I'm still above 12% on the ROI. I like this deal. I'm going to save this to my office. Let me see if I have an office emoji. Yeah, we'll take that. Office. What did I do? Office build. So it's in there. All right. Um, for sale with the lease back. That's a good sign. Means you got a tenant in there. I'm looking for that fine writing that this NOI is pro forma. Okay. We'll get the data on that. Okay, so that's a good one. Moving on. Um, I want to get the price per square foot on that real quick. And that's not being average. It's not being mentioned, but I have a calculator. So it's 3 million divided by 17,250. It's $173 per square foot. People might think that's high. I don't think it's that high. I like Diana. Okay. Um, Anna, this isn't the one we were showing or the client. We're saying that this is an ACAP. A lot of people don't care about these single use buildings, even if the cap rate's really high, because they just can't stomach a 12-month vacancy on a building like that. 2.695. This is the Ashford Center on Derry Ashford. This is out here somewhere west. Yeah, the Eldridge Briar Forest and Derry Ashford. Let's uh let's take a look at this one. Mm, okay. So my NOI is at 224. I don't have financials at the moment. Um, they don't put a pro forma NOI. So I'm not sure if this number is pro forma or not, but at 8.34, maybe some opportunity there. It is uh almost 24,000, 23,500 square feet. Um, 2695000. So 2.695. We're going to divide that by 23,000 or 37. That's going to get us $114 a square foot, $115 a square foot. That's fine. Um, Cap rate's 8.34. Occupancy, that looks right. B class. This works. It's been on the market for a while. So if you look at property history, it'll tell you that they listed at 2.8. They dropped it by 100K. Probably not quite significant enough with the market going down, but at 8.3, my DSCR is still too low. 7.5. If I'm at 7%, that is close. Um, Raising it will increase that DSCR. So like if I'm at 20% down, my DSCR is below that threshold. The return is at 7.77. Look at that. So my return will increase when I increase a down payment. So will my DSCR. So you can increase, but if you can get this interest down, like if you can get like 6.75, which is probably going to be a stretch, that's going to make a little bit of a difference. Let's go back to 7.25. Because unless the buyer has a bank that they know they can um, finance it at a lower rate, some of these banks won't do anything more than 20, and that doesn't work. So then we'll start tweaking this. 20% down, 7.25. That's not going to work. I need to be at least at 1.25, get that ROI. Everybody wants 8% on that. So we're going to come in at 259. That will work. How about 2645? So that's close. 2625. I would offer that. And then the DSCR is still low. To let's just say 2.6. Okay, that does the trick right there. I would do this at 2.6. How are we doing on time? So I'll say this will be in one of my two offices. Let it push out. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, no, those are my two offices. We can talk about, get that conversation going. Let's go back and now we're going to look at some retail. I'll take that search. All right, retail. So retail includes quite a bit of stuff. Um, we're just going to take a look and see what is going on. Read. Why did it go back? Retail. There we go. Now in retail, again, we're just in Harris County. There's 751. Let me make sure I'm showing the whole map. 751 listings. Oh, there's the fee. Cap rate, high, low. Houston Regional Mall. What is this? That is not a 12 cap. Um, the pro forma cap rate is 26%. What am I looking at? Oh, um, okay. I didn't realize this was on the market. This is Alameda Mall. Um, dude, nobody wants to buy this. I didn't know this was on the market. I probably haven't stepped foot in this building in 25 years, but I drive by it every day. Alameda Mall is on the market. Anna, I saw your laughing face. I, it threw me back seeing it. Okay, so proudly advertising a cap rate of 12.25%. We need to probably know about this because it's a fun, it's a fun conversation to have if you know about these kinds of things. Alameda Mall. Look, it just got listed. See, this is why we gotta do this every day. We gotta look at what's going on because we're experts in our field. They're selling it at $24 a square foot. They're selling it at a cap rate of 12.25. Have you ever heard of a C class shopping mall? Like they need to get rid of this. This thing's about to sell. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, um, it's a good deal. It's not going to be an easy deal, but it's already making money. It already nets 1.5 million. I'm going to go back to CoStar and look at the underwriting report on this. Okay. Apparently this has two different two different addresses or three different addresses. That must be the lease listing type for sale. There we go. Wow. Regional mall, 17 acres, $12 million. What the heck? It said it sold in 2007 for $40 million. I've never seen such a discrepancy in all my days. It's listed at 12. I wonder if that's an error. We'll have to investigate this, Anna. Yeah. Um, sold for 40 million in 2007. For loading, blah, 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 blah. Do I have financials? Do I have a rent roll? Some market financials. That's not going to help me. Um, well, somebody was telling us today that they want to buy a shopping center. So this is a shopping center. Um, I'll create a deal for this. I've got to know what's going on with this in my office building. But 12, close these tabs to the right. Mm, retail, 500,000, 12.25 cap rate, $24 a square foot. That's crazy. So let's look at, we could buy this. We just need to pull together 2.4 more million. And what's the occupancy on it? 65%. Who wants to lease space there? Your return on investment is at 26 walking into the deal. Well, let's see if the seller can finance it. So I'll save this one to my faves. That's a very interesting retail. I'm just kind of, let's see what else we got. I've got a little shopping center coming in Galveston that's similar to this. Um, this is 11 cap. Uh, units, 5 units. The thing about these type of buildings, when it says 5 units, I guarantee you one of those units is a house. See, two houses, three houses. They're apartments with a little store in there. So they may have like the employees living in there. These kind of deals can get kind of messy. Um, of course, we know the listing agent. Oh, yeah, that's all you need to know. 24. These are tough. Willowbrook. This is kind of an interesting property. It's a former 24 hour. What happened with 24-hour? Did they all close? I know a lot of them closed, but um, it's a single unit, so that's tough. This this would be interesting for an owner user. So I wouldn't do. I mean, could you subdivide this? Do you have pictures? You may be able to convert it to a department store. You may be able to subdivide it. That's what I would want to know. Yeah, it's a standalone. Oop, kind of hard to see it. Maybe. Mm, let's look at one more. Ooh, Laporte. Okay, I know where this is. This is my stomping grounds. I've got um, a 9.82 cap rate. No pictures on this one. Yeah, they're gonna list something for 500,000. This would be a good price range for people getting into retail. Progress. Did I put Laporte? This is the building with the seafood uh, village. Okay, so there's a pet store. I bought a snake when I was a teacher from this pet store. And village, everybody loves village. Currently, I think it's 2 units. This is a good one to know about. 1220 Broadway. Tenants, tenants. You can, that village has been there forever. This pet store has been there forever. It's been occupied. Oh, yeah, those two tenants have been there forever, both of them. Um, you know what? 54 is their net. You know what I'm thinking? I'm gonna buy this. On the market for 2 years. I like this one. Retail. Okay, so those are my deals of the day. Some interesting stuff on the market. Um, this one makes sense. Um, I'm sure this building needs work, but They're on net leases. I don't know if that's a triple net or not. Any details I'm missing? Okay, I have everything in there. 1974 building, 54,000 no net operating income. It's typical with tenants that have been there a long time that they're below market. Um, so we'll get some information for this, but just as is, it checks out. This would be a good little intro. I mean, the price per square foot um, is pretty reasonable. $69. I kind of like this. So I got some good stuff that we can share with our people. I can't believe that's 550. I think that's an interesting deal. So let me go to my saved properties before I log off for today. So office buildings, just to recap. Diana Lane looks good. Um, Anna, if you don't mind, do you want to reach out to the agent on this for financials? Same thing with Ashford. I appreciate that. This one's interesting too. Gary Ashford.
Yes, I can do
Not
that.
that. You're awesome. Um, I'm so curious about this. I'm assuming that it's going to sell pretty quick, or maybe it's an auction or something. I don't know. I was not expecting to see Alameda on the mall, Alameda Mall, 0 days on market. I mean, they just listed it, and then on let me go back to my save searches. On the office side, there's some cool stuff there to um, save properties, not save searches. So Diana and Ashford, those are my office. I'm at retail. Tripping. Save properties. Retail. So we're still working on Defeat. We talked about that last week. Um, we talked about the town center and leasehold. And then is this the only retail space I looked at today? I like this one. Okay. Well, that concludes our retail and office deep dive for today. Plenty of opportunities. Thank you for joining. I got 2 likes on YouTube and I had 3 people watching. So maybe I should just keep doing YouTube. I don't know. But you can watch this live on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I go live and I'll start going live more. Anna, thanks for jumping on the Zoom call.